All right, Fashion Dolls, this makes interview number 2. We just wrapped up our interview with Bishop Ali Stevens. That interview is up and it will be uploaded to my channel. Our very special guest today for our second interview, she is a casting director. She is a singer and songwriter, and she is also 1/5 of the Lake Sirens. Please welcome to the Dollhouse, Fashion Dolls, Sandy Alisi. And I'm super excited to have her here. I see you all are coming in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And I'm seeing all of these new followers out of nowhere. Thank y'all so much. I'm going to have to unfollow. It's so many, but I'm going to have to go through. I can't follow all of you back, but thank you all so much for your love and unconditional support. I see it. I see it. I see it. We are waiting on Sandy, and we're going to get started once she gets here. But this interview also will be uploaded to Style by Stevie Daytime, so you guys can go and check that one out as well too. I see you, I see you, I see you, I see all of the love. I see it, I see it, I see it, I see it, I see it. So let me go ahead and share this with her so that we can get Sandy in here. Wait a minute. I'm gonna have to start a new live because see, I can't even get out of the yeah. There we are. Boop. There we are. I thank you, 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 I thank you. I'm seeing so many new followers. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Thank you. I'm not able to follow everybody back. I appreciate it, I appreciate it, I appreciate it, I appreciate it, I appreciate it. Fashion Dolls, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. We're waiting on Sandy. Let me shoot her a text and let her know that I am on and then she can join me that way. All right. We're waiting on Sandy so that we can get right into it. If you guys have any questions, I'll be taking your questions as well also. And it is Women's History Month. You guys know that March is Women's History Month. I'm going to go on ahead and upload the conversation with Bishop to Style by Stevie. Make sure you guys go and check it out there as well too. It is Motivation Monday, y'all. We are back in the swing of things. March is Women's History Month. Make sure that you guys go and check out the new article for Original Magazine UK as well also. It is up. So we're waiting on Sandy so that we can get this conversation started because I know you guys have a lot of questions. A lot of people want to become actors and want to go after a certain role. And you have to know exactly what the director or filmmaker or producer is looking for as for casting for this character. What would I recommend to someone who really wants to be a background actor with Alessi but doesn't have experience? I'm away for Sandy, but I'm going to say this, and I see you all. I see you all. I see you all. Hmm. I don't know what is going on today. Okay, she's here. So without further ado, let's welcome our very special guest fashion dolls, Sandy Alessi. And I'm going to also take some of you guys' questions in the question box so you can type them in the comments as well. So let's welcome her. Hello, how
Can
are
you see
you?
me?
I sure can. Welcome to the
Oh
show.
my God, there you are. Hi. Hi.
It is such a pleasure to have you here. So
Thank
before
you.
we kick off this conversation, because they're already rolling in questions, I'm checking my question box,
Yay.
and JR asked a question as well too. But before we kick off this, where we're getting into casting directing and what it takes to become an actor in this business, you are also 1/5 of the Lake Sirens, one of my favorite girl groups. I am a fan. And I interviewed some of the ladies from the group as well too, and it was such a pleasure. And you also joined us in that live. It was so much fun. But
Yeah, it was
before we
really
get
fun.
to that, how has 2025 been for you so far?
Oh my God. It has been so exciting because we just opened up an office in London and in Wales, and we've started getting work there immediately. So it's been really exciting. It's been amazing for my company. And for the
Yeah.
lake sirens, we have giant plans. The lake sirens are going to record in Nashville with some very special, amazing musicians, and we have all kinds of plans. So there's a lot of fun stuff going on.
Yes, yes. And it's all about balance. And I was talking to the girls about it when we did our interview last month as well, to me and Wendy and the other ladies. We were all talking about finding balance with being women in this business in general. And it's March. I'd be remiss if I didn't tell you guys. March is Women's History Month, celebrating us and our accomplishments to the world. Now, Sandy, I did it with my previous guest, Bishop. What are 5 things that make us as women remarkable?
Well, I think resilience, bravery, authenticity, um, passion. There are so many things, and we're so lucky to live in this day and time where we can be everything. We could be everything right now, and we're so lucky. So, I believe in, being a woman or living to the max. I'm not someone who'll sit home and watch Netflix. I'm someone who, if there's a Screen Actors Guild strike, or if COVID shuts down
You're
the industry,
involved.
um,
Exactly.
I learned to captain a 50-foot sailboat during that time. Or I spent the whole year learning how to expand my business into 5 time zones. I joined a band and learned the dynamics of what it's like and why so many bands break up, and how to write songs and how to eat the mic when you are performing live, and when to pull back, and how to support your friends, and be able to keep that little family, which is a band. So there's a lot of things. I feel really, really lucky.
And the ladies in the audience are agreeing. Headshot Dream and many other women are agreeing with that as well too. And I'm going to give my 5. My 5 would be is I agree with Sandy. Our resilience, how women. Sorry, fellas, it's just true. Women, we're able to bounce back. And I said this earlier to someone. We could have 102-degree fever. We are still going. We will always try to make ourselves look beautiful through all of the pain. And I can give you an example. You guys know I'm a big Beyonce fan. I've seen this woman on stage literally injure herself, an earring ripped out of her ear, and blood is pouring down the side of her face. And this woman still gave an effortless performance. Beautiful vocals, beautiful fashion, beautiful face, everything. So, number 1 for me would have to be a woman's resilience. For 2,
Hmm.
it would have to be our intelligence because sometimes men are, and Madonna said this in an interview, sometimes men are intimidated by strong women. They're
Hmm.
intimidated by
Oh yeah.
women. And it's a weakness to them.
Hmm.
It's a weakness
Oh my
in a
gosh.
way. So it's an ego thing. It's an ego thing where men have for years they have to be the providers, the warriors, this, that, and third. But sometimes a woman can be the warrior as well too. So I would have to say our strength is number 2. Number 3 is our beauty. Our beauty. We're multidimensional. We don't all look the same. And what's so unique about us, we have different hair textures, different body shapes, different skin tones, all of these things in the world. We all look unique in our own way. So I would have to say our beauty. Number 4, our vulnerability. We're strong, but we also know how to showcase that vulnerability in that moment, in that time when we need to be nurturer. And Sandy, you're a mom, and what I commend you for as a woman as well too is being able to find that balance. And I've had conversations, and we've all had conversations like this with our mothers about being nurturers. They've taught us how to be the nurturers and the providers. I have a nephew. My nephew is on his way to his terrible twos. So instantly, with me being 31 years old, it has taught me, okay, you're now in a big step now. Like you're auntie now, so you're in auntie mode. So when you're handling the child, you have to do things different. So he's on his way. He's still learning. And my nephew now knows sign language. He knows how to say I love you. He knows how to say I've had enough. So these babies are learning fast. So that would be number four. And number five, I would say also is our style. Our style is what makes us unique. When a woman walks into the room, she commands it. It could be for any position, anything you could be casting for, which we'll get into. But our style is multifaceted. And what I love about you ladies of the Lake Siren is that, and I asked the girls this when they were here, is style. How do you ladies pick out outfits and
Oh yeah, it's a whole thing.
balancing five different women in the group with five different opinions, five different
Oh
styles?
yeah.
So, Sandy, for you working with the Lake Sirens, what is it like balancing out all of these different styles? 'Cause they said some of the fashion choices, you are the wild and courageous. When I said, who's the wild card out of the group? And they said you.
You know what I know is that I know people. I mean, I've technically cast like a million people. Somebody called me, a reporter from New York Times, and said, I heard that you cast more butt doubles than anyone in the
Yeah.
world, besides porn, whatever, but I'm casting, major actors' butts. And I realized at that moment that I've cast more wieners and boobs than butts. So am I the biggest casting director of wieners? I don't know. Anyway, that aside, I'm not an expert in costumes, but I am an expert in people. So I try to bring continuity to the Lake Sirens and just say, okay, why don't we pick, like we're gonna do a photo shoot in a bathroom in Nashville when we record there, and it's all pink marble. And I said, why don't we wear red, like blue reds, like blood darker blue or pink reds. And so, everyone pick your style, do whatever you want, but just keep it in the palette. So we're wearing this red against this pink. So, yeah, I'm kind of turned into the police of that. And I mean, I just want to, be gentle, but keep continuity at the same time. Somebody has to do it. Everybody in our band has a different role. So, it works out. And
And that's
we're
what
all
I
good.
asked ladies. Right. Each and every woman in the group, what I love about you ladies is, and I compared you ladies to the Spice Girls, because in the Spice Girls, every woman in the group has her own. You got the
Yeah.
ginger, you got the spicy,
Yeah.
you've got the posh, you've got the scary. Every woman in the group had their
They
own
call me
individual
Sexy
stuff.
Spice.
Yes. That's another thing I
I'm like,
asked them. I
why
said,
me?
oh my
Oh,
goodness. So speaking of individuality, casting, because I see you all are coming in with your questions. Welcome as you come in.
I would love
Let me go
to answer
through.
questions for people.
Yes, 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 yes. Let me scroll up. Okay, Instagram 2017 said you film a lot out in Santa Clarita, where I live.
Santa
Does zip code make a
Clarita. Yeah.
difference in choosing background for a role?
What was the question? We shoot in Santa Clarita. Yeah. We have a big
Yes. The,
show there. We have a giant show there right now.
and Instagram wants to know, does zip code make a difference when choosing background for a role?
No, it doesn't. We have done that before. When we were casting Babylon, we shot in Piru and we needed people from Santa
Wow.
Clarita. So we really targeted that area. And we have a lot of technology, and in our database, we can, click cities and do a blast and say, hey, we need you. And it's really based on not wanting people from Orange County to drive, or we try to choose people, based on, sometimes, not all the time. The show that we're working on in Santa Clarita right now is a major, not allowed to tell you what it is, established. This is season 2. We're really excited because it came from another location to LA, which is so great for LA because LA, has suffered. And so for anything to come from another location to LA is giant. And we really want that. And it's a period show. What we need on that show are women with shoulder length hair or shorter, and men with really short hair, because maybe it's the future, maybe it's the past, but It looks like it's the 50s. Let's just say that.
Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Do we have any other questions? Sandy, thank you for bringing your company to Vegas. And this is from Janae Borgia 95. She says, I'm excited to work on it here.
Yeah. Yes, we love to work in Vegas. We have tons of files in Vegas. We're hoping because we have a giant social media and a giant database in Vegas, and we have one of our best casting directors on the ground. Sam Plant is there. She's done giant shows for us like Westworld, and she lives there now. So to have someone on the ground is really good for us, and I'm just hoping that I'm hearing that a studio is opening and there's a good chance of some more work there. But who doesn't love Vegas?
Yes, so much fun.
So fun. I've
Every
worked there a bunch of times and it's fun.
and we've got some more questions and comments coming in. Every Shafran underscore every man says, just want to say thank you for all the work. It's tough times right now.
I
So
do.
any days are appreciated. Thank you so much for all you do.
Aw.
And we got a question from, oh my goodness, Valeria Castaneda. She says, do you have any upcoming jobs right now for LA, Latin American, or people of color, and 1825 Hispanic women, to be specific?
Okay. So if you look at our Instagram and Facebook right now, today, we need Hispanic women in Los Angeles. So yeah, you have to stay in touch with our Instagram and Facebook because our casting notices are going up and coming down. I mean, we have so many shows in LA right now, and I have so many teams, and we have code names for code names. So the shows that we're working on, I know that you know what they are, but I'm not allowed to tell you what they are. But if you knew what they were, you'd want to submit. So just stay in touch. But yes, definitely we have that right now. I just saw it this morning. So yeah.
And we have another one from JRVISC. JR wants to know, what would you recommend to someone who really wants to be a background actor with your casting company but doesn't have the experience?
Well, you don't need experience. And I feel like what we do, well, we're going to do more and more like talks like this and Q&As, just to try to elevate each person at whatever level you're at. If you're just getting into the business, I want to say follow what the instructions are to register, which is, and it's free, but we just need to make sure that you have a white background and it
Yes.
looks like a professional photo. It's just taken with your iPhone. You don't have to spend money for a photo anymore. And then you just look at our posts and submit per instructions. Like sometimes people will submit and they will leave out information, and it's like we're doing accounting, but we're casting. It's like shopping, and we're trying to create a look, and we're trying to create authenticity for a show. I mean, it really, we do have a lot of input in casting, even though it's extras. I mean, in some areas, like in New Mexico, we do a lot of principal casting, and in Los Angeles, we do principal casting, but mainly on commercials or real specialty type stuff. So we're doing, all different levels of casting, but for extras, we're creating texture. And like Pirates of the Caribbean, I wanted to make sure that all of the soldiers, those British triangle hat soldiers, were the same height, as close as possible, because I wanted them to look really clean compared to the pirates that I would cast were really short and really tall, and they were like a ragtag bunch. So when you cut to those British soldiers, there's texture there, and those are like the secret things that we can do and we can add. So for someone who's just signing up, just follow, really, you just have to follow the instructions. We're starting to put instructional videos up about how to photograph yourself and how to self tape. And if there's something that you want us to talk about on a video or on a live Zoom, whatever it is, just let us know. Just reach out, because we want to serve. We want to elevate you to the next level.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. And I see more questions are coming in. Connor underscore R1031 wants to know, what is your best advice for children background actors?
Well, children, it's different. It's different in every location. I mean, I'm not just thinking, I'm not sure where this question is coming from because it's different for children in our Hawaii office versus our New Mexico or our LA and our Atlanta and our London. They're all different. But for children, it's best to get an agent more than signing up with all the extras companies because an agent will make sure that your pictures are up to date. For children, I would definitely say don't pay because there's a lot of scams out there. I remember I worked at Bill Dance Casting when I first started, and there was a business across Cahuenga Boulevard that said, we're casting babies, and there were people with baby strollers all day in line. And so one day I decided to call them and say, I need Jim Carrey as a baby. It was for the Truman Show. And the person on the phone said, what? We don't know. What are you talking about? I'm like, I need a baby. You're signing up babies. They didn't know how to cast a baby or give me or submit a baby. They only knew how to register them. So definitely watch out for people that are trying to get money. A good agency is not going to request that, especially for headshots for babies. They don't make you get professional headshots because they grow. So just, you know, be careful. Look at all the Google reviews and the Yelp reviews for an agent, but an agent for the kids is the best way.
And Brenda says, "Oh, now, oh, I think I know what if's list. If we already submitted previously, can we submit again if another casting call comes out?"
Oh, you can submit on every single thing. Now, there are a couple people, and if my staff is watching, they would laugh because I'm not going to say names. But there are some people that will submit for an African American police officer, but then they will be a 18 to look younger Asian kid, and then they will be. I mean, they'll submit for every single role. They that I mean, I see it all the time if we're looking for someone, even if it's on. I mean, we search through the way to submit to us is with your email submissions coming from Facebook and Instagram. So there are specific ways to submit. Then we also use Actors Access. We use Casting Frontier. We use is it still called LA Casting? Casting Network, Backstage West, all of these other sites. And there are some people that are absolutely not right and they will submit. So don't do that because then we could never take you seriously. We just don't. We give up. It's like we don't even want to book somebody who submits for things that they're not right for because it makes us think you might not be, capable on set. So if you're right for it, then definitely submit for it every time. Just keep doing it because a lot of it is picture picked. So we and then think of the picture that you're submitting because if you have a beer in the background or if your house is a mess and you're standing there and you have sunglasses on, what if we show that to an Oscar winning director? We are not going to show that. We are not going to submit that picture, so you will never be seen unless your picture is good.
Exactly. And Missy Claire Falcon wants to know what makes an actor stand out when casting.
Oh my gosh. Oh god, I did a whole YouTube about this, how to stand out. There are a lot of ways. I mean, I think about when they come into when people come into an audition and how people present themselves and if somebody's showing up late and apologizing for not knowing the lines. I mean, that's just things that we remember versus just come in and just do your best and be
Yeah,
authentic and make sure that you are submitting in your age range. And let's give everybody 10 years. So people ask me about headshots. Get a headshot of yourself that looks as young as possible. Now, get another headshot that makes you look as old as possible. Nobody wants to be older, but that's your range. So let's see you looking old and not with AI and not with face tuner and all those things. Just try to look as old as you can or try to look as downscale as you can. and then try to look as hot as you can. Like, give us a range and then submit that picture. That's
Absolutely.
a way.
And
That's a
she
way.
will. And we touched on that ageism in the business when the girls were here, your bandmates. We touched on that ageism as a thing in the acting world
Oh
as well
yeah.
too. Like you're too old to do this. And you guys know that I'm a big Betty White fan. I'm a big fan
Oh
of the
yeah.
Golden Girl. And Betty White has still kept her acting career, even before long before she passed, after the Golden Girls and everything. She still kept going. So it is never too late to follow your
Oh
dreams
no,
and go
no,
after them. And
definitely not.
C-Roll and Chris and Auntie Christum wants to know, can you sign up for your website even if you're outside of America?
No, you can't. You have to be in one of our cities. But if you go to our database, you need to just pick the closest city to you. And we're expanding now. We're going to be global soon. Now we have two offices in UK. We have one in London and one in Wales. And that happened really fast, and we're already getting work there. So we're expanding into Europe, but you can't be someone who that that submits for a role, and if I say, can you go to a fitting tomorrow, and you say, I need you to fly me in, I can't fly you in. We're booking extras. Even if it's principals, we're not flying people in. We're pulling principal actors from each of our hubs. So if you are able to be the next day at one of our offices, pick the closest one. If you can't, then please don't waste our time. Just don't waste. It's just going to be a time waster. So please don't do that. I
You
wish we
must
were.
have watched the previous interview, Sandy, because my previous guest that I had on Bishop said the same thing. He said, please don't waste that lady time. Don't waste that
Oh,
lady
it's just
time. She's all about business.
we're moving
So he
so
said that in the
fast.
interview.
We're choosing people, and we're creating a look, and we're between assistant directors and time changes and locations and costumes and hair and makeup, and then we get somebody who says, I can't be there because I'm flying in from someplace. It's accounting, high stylized accounting with humans is what we're doing. So we just can't make that work. That's all. So I'm sorry.
Oh, JR, baby, I'm sorry. I see your questions. Let me get to them. Let me get to the question box over here. Um, let me see. Let me see. Headshot Dream. She wants to know, what is your main goal you would like to accomplish in your field of work that you have not yet accomplished yet, that would make you feel like if you really achieve your life goal.
Is it for me?
Yes, that one is
Are you talking
for you.
about me? Like my goal?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, well, I wanted to work for Steven Spielberg, and then I did like 7 times. Then I wanted, like, I have these little goals where I want Jason Momoa to be my boss, and then he is. And then I want to do, I mean, I want Star Wars, and then I have all the Star Wars. So I have had, but I am a big manifester, like in a
Me
ridiculous
too,
way.
girl.
Like the last few days, I was thinking about, I need sandpaper. I just kept thinking I need to get sandpaper, but I mean, I know I could go to the store and get it, but I just thought I need sandpaper, and I'm in Big Bear Lake right now. I have a home here. I don't know if you can see, but there's snow. Do you see? So I'm just, a couple hours out of LA, but I go back and forth. But anyway, I was just walking up the hill, and on a pile of snow was sandpaper, perfect sandpaper. But that's the type of thing that happens. Like the man that I'm with right now, my relationship, I made a list of exactly what I wanted. I'm a widow. I've been a widow for 10 years. I had to raise my two kids alone. My son has a brain injury. When he was dying, I didn't know how
Oh,
I was going to go on because he was everything. I was with him for 20 years, and I just didn't, I thought my life was over. I remember talking to my Aunt Lily. I was on the floor at that time. My company was falling apart. I had a parasite in my company that pretended to be my best friend that stole money from me when my husband was dying. I mean, a lot of money. and then sold all my work to another company. So I had to like get over that, and it was a lot. But my Aunt Lily was 99 years old and just a
Wow.
month shy of 100 years old. And I said, Aunt Lily, what was the best time in your life? And she said, Sandy, it was when I was in my 50s. I knew who I was as a woman, and I had the best time of my life in my 50s. And let me tell you, I picked myself up and I got my company together and I raised those kids and I did all of that. And I know it's like I'm a lot, I'm surprised at how strong I was able to be. Now, I just have to say, at the same time, now I'm a single woman, right, in my mid 50s, and I was too strong. I was too strong for anybody on a website, Match.com. I didn't even like. I finally went on something like that during COVID because I felt it was safe because nobody was seeing each other in
Right.
person. So I would just put my headphones in and I would walk and walk and walk and I would talk to a bunch of men. And I found that I was dumbing myself down because I couldn't be authentic. I mean, even when when the industry came back to work, I was working on a giant movie with Brad Pitt, and I was standing next to Brad Pitt on set earlier that day, but I was talking to men that I could never tell that I was standing next to Brad Pitt because I was too much. You know what I mean? And once I realized I was dumbing myself down, I went, I am never going to do that. I am never going to dumb myself down. If there's a man that can't appreciate a strong woman, then he is just not for me. So I just stayed single for a long time. But now I have the man that I wrote on a piece of paper every single thing. I have that man for the last 3 years.
And it's all about the power of manifestation. You
Oh,
putting it out
yeah.
there, you envision it. And I think a lot of people, as it pertains to getting into acting and going for a certain role, that ties to that too, to anyone who wants to get into the business of being an actress or a director or filmmaker. Is you have to write down what you
Oh,
want to
yeah.
do. Take those lessons as well too. And I see some more questions coming in. I see you. I see you all. I see you all. The real Alexander Vasquez says, "Hi Sandy. Any advice on how to stand out to a casting director?" Ooh.
You know, I did a whole thing on YouTube and it's called How to Stand Out. It's only like 15 minutes long, but watch it. I mean, I'm coming from a perspective of I started in this business as an extra because I wanted to learn the business and I had to
Yeah.
find my way to get the jobs. And I had to learn from being on the inside how to stand out. So I'm giving perspectives of how to stand out as an extra, and then you want to go to the next level, which is you want to be a stand-in and you want to be a extras coordinator and you want to be an actor, and how to get yourself, to that next place. So it's just there's just a long answer that goes with that. But you know what? We'll do some kind of a Facebook Live, or something about it. We'll do something. I'll just let my team know that that's a question that we need to address. Okay?
Yes. Yes. And Roosevelt Palafox says, is it usual for companies to bring BG to other places like California, from California to Vegas, or is it always local?
Okay, to bring someone
I'm
to
assuming
the
background. BG stands for background, so I'm
yeah.
assuming background is
Oh,
usual for
well,
companies to
okay,
bring.
the only time I'll tell you that we move uh background around is when it does not exist in the population. So, for example, we have some limitations on what we have on our I mean, we have the biggest files in New Mexico. We are the leader in New Mexico with our files and our social media, but there's not as large a population of ethnicities. So we're really like relying on the ethnicities that we have to come to work all the time, and they're working all the time. So it's really about that. Like I've had to bring, like pirates were flying people to the Caribbean, and we were looking for ethnicities for people to play cannibals, and we brought them from LA to the Caribbean, and we just did Moana, and we moved people around. They had to be real Polynesian. So it's usually about something that you cannot find. So if you are something that we cannot find in Vegas, I mean, that's pretty rare because Vegas is a big town. But maybe you're something that we can't find in, a tiny place in Colorado. So it's really based on what's available in the area. Because of course, production doesn't want to bring someone; it's a big expense. They only want to bring what they have to.
And Eliza wants to know, what are the top three recommendations for someone moving from background to name roles? What are the key pieces of a reel if you have only done background?
Well, let me tell you, since I've been in the business, reels have changed very much. Reels used to be, whatever you've done, and it was all different little snips of work that you have done in a reel. And now, and even, I have a really good friend who is at one of the top 5 agencies in LA. Like there's CAA. He's one of those top 5. And I always ask him, what the trend is. And I'll just tell you that the trend in headshots is very bright colors. So that's something to know. But as far as self tapes go, I'm sorry, it's not self tapes, it's reels. Reels have changed where it's not
Oh, yeah.
little bits of your work edited together. It's now a self tape. A self tape is your reel. So they look more at self tapes of, different auditions. They look at that, which is great because I think that whole real thing, I don't know, it was very cringy to me, all of that. I mean, if you want to showcase your work, it's fine, but sometimes people were like digging at scraps and it was just kind of cringy. Like one minute you're host of a game show and then you're a murderer and then I don't know, it just didn't seem appropriate. But this way you can just do a self tape and targeted toward what role you're going after. So be ready in
Absolutely.
your house, make a backdrop, be ready, because that if this is your business, so you should be ready to self tape. You should be lit and have the whole thing ready to go all the time.
And there was a lot of that going on during the pandemic. There's a lot of people doing self tapes and having to submit them in. Everything was done how we're doing the interview now virtually. Everything was done virtually. So it was a lot of that versus going in person. And
And
Queen has a question.
it changed
Yeah.
the face. It changed the face of casting because that's all we do. I used to have my LA office had a big audition space with lights and backdrops, and I had people in there all the time. And now I don't have that. I mean, I'll have spaces for open call, but people, they just tape themselves. And that's just how we do it. It's
It's easy.
changed.
Presentation. Make sure that you have a good background, like I have my backdrop up here behind me. Before it was purple and blue, but we changed for this season. I wanted all things
You
platinum.
look so beautiful right now.
Thank you. It's just, yeah. Beyonce, I think Beyonce's Renaissance has rubbed off on me a lot, which is why I wore the dress that I'm wearing today and everything. So I think it's rubbed off on me somewhat. So I said for
Yeah.
this season, I
No, I
wanted
love your
everything
color and your lighting today. You look
silver.
amazing.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And Queen, she has a question for you. She says, how can a background actress ensure they are working consistently?
I would need to know, oh boy, because it's different in different cities. In Los Angeles, it's the only location that we have calling services, and that's how I got into the business because my dad retired from Eastern Airlines. Well, they went bankrupt, and then he bought a calling service. And calling services are like an agent
Yeah.
that try to get you work all the time. And I remember when I did extra work for a year and a half before I started casting or interning as a casting director. But I remember how hard it was. And this is back when there was payphones you put money in. Nobody had cell phones. But I remember how hard it was to try to be on set and try to book yourself because you have to, well, back then you'd have to call in. It was like a different world. But bottom line is, if you're in LA, if you want to work all the time, I think calling services are a good way to do it. I mean, it's really one of the only places in our, all of our markets. And we have, like I said, Hawaii, Los Angeles, New Mexico, Atlanta, and now UK. LA is probably the only place out of all of those that you can work as an extra for a living. So if you want to pay a calling service to help you, I mean, why not? I would do it all. I mean, back then I made business cards with my face on it. I would go from studio to studio, and when the red light went off, I would walk in, and then I would see like Burt Reynolds or like whoever was in there. And I would say, "Hi, I'm the waitress from Seinfeld, and I'm here with Ruthie, the cashier from Seinfeld." And I'd say, "If you could ever use us on your show," and then I became the background singer for the Larry Sanders Show with Gary Shandling from that. And like you just get, just networking and just being out there. And there are little things you could do. Like I would show up early. Like people, like, why are you going to be late to set? And on time is not on time. Go early. And so what I would do is I'd have a couple extra pencils. I'd go up to, or pens or whatever. I'd go up to whoever's checking people in. I'd say, "Hey, do you want me to pick you up a breakfast burrito at the truck?" "Are you kidding me?" Or they'd go, "How, I'm like, you want me to go grab you another coffee? Or can I help? You want me to help? Can I help you?" Now, when they're picking someone to give a SAG voucher to, or when they're picking someone to give a featured spot to, who is that person going to remember? You know who? Me. First, fresh, happy face in the morning who is willing to help. So I think, people think like that and think about wherever you are, you should be networking. If you're in an acting class, if you're on any set, make relationships, because you just never know where it's going to bring you. Look at what just happened last night with the $6 million movie that swept the entire Oscars. And this, virtually unknown girl that, I mean, maybe she's no, I don't know. I don't know who she is. I guess I've seen her a couple times, but she just won Best Actor over these other giant names that we've always known from a low budget movie. So
See,
I tell this to people too. You don't know, like, if you want to go work for free, as long as they're taking care of you and you're, if it's a great script. I mean, I did a low budget short that was nominated for an Oscar once. Now imagine those people that were in it could have been on an Oscar winning project, and almost everybody worked for free. So I mean, it's just something to think about, to take you to it's just other ways to take you to the next level.
and Beach Scrap wants to know, will casting use apps in the future? And she's just curious about that.
Oh yeah, our technology is changing for sure, and ours will be able to do a lot from our database, and eventually, yes, I say yes. Hmm. Yeah, we have been working on the backside. We've always had a lot of technology, like the ability to blast out and like, choose, and then there's just a lot that our database does, but we're always working on more. So yes, for sure.
Uh, Ali wants to know, I was wondering, how do I apply for jobs on the website because I cannot see anything?
How can you, I'm sorry?
How can I apply for jobs on the website because he couldn't see anything? I guess on the
No,
casting
we
list.
don't have it. We don't have it now. It's not on the website. Everything right now is on our Instagram pages and our Facebook pages. And you have to submit to, the city that you're closest to. And, our main offices are in Oahu and Los Angeles and New Mexico, all of New Mexico, and Atlanta, New York, and now, London. So those are our main offices. We do work outside though of those places. Like sometimes we'll be asked to work in Oklahoma or in Tennessee. We work in Florida. We work in New York. We work in New Jersey. We work all over the place, but They're not really our main hubs. We kind of pop up, especially in weird locations. Like they'll ask us to find hard stuff in weird places. And we've always been able to kind of pop up and do that. But yeah, you really have to look at our social media. That's where it's all right now. Eventually you'll be on our website, but right now, that's where it is.
And Jody says, this is so helpful. By any chance, do you have an email we can send questions to after this live?
I would like one of my staff, if any of my staff are watching, can you guys put that in the comments? I really hope so. I don't know answers like that. And if I'm gonna find out. Somebody's gonna tell me. Hopefully somebody is watching for my staff.
Welcome, welcome, welcome as you coming in. We have more people that are coming in. South OC Mike wants to know, how often does your casting company book commercials?
You know, back in the day, I had like 40 commercials a year. Then something bad happened at my company. And now we get we have amazing, when we have them, they're amazing. Like we do those little short movies, and we do really high end fashion brands like Calvin Klein and Gucci and all of those really high end brands. And those are so fun, because I just love the look of the people that we put on those. Um, but yeah, I mean, we're always trying to get more. We're always trying to get more. I don't know why we don't do more. We're just kind of, in this world of feature films, which is lucky. I'm so freaking grateful. I mean, the body of work that I've been able to work on, I can't even believe it. It's stunning to me, you know? But yeah, when we have it, we put it out there. So it's always on our casting notices when we have them.
Let me go to the question box over here. Let me see. Okay, got that one. Got that one. Okay, muff, muff, moof, cereal animal. If we do not get an email response but submit it via email, do we still have a chance to submit to other listings? And I'm scared I was rejected. I don't want to let you down, Sandy.
Okay, so we can't write back to everyone because of the mass quantities of submissions coming in. Do you know, in Los Angeles, if I post a principal role on Breakdown, I'll have about 1,200 people will
Wow.
submit. Like between 600 and 1,200, depending on the look of the person. So now imagine how many we're going through. It's like a numbers game. And maybe you submitted too late and we've already pulled great people. So it's, submit once for each thing that you fit. Don't feel like, if you didn't get the role yesterday, don't feel like you can't submit today. Submit once for all the roles. And it's really, like I said, a numbers game of how fast, because the turnaround, we're working in high speed. I don't know if people really know that, but it is the fastest paced. It's a crazy job. I don't even know. These people that work for me, they are so incredible, and they've worked for me for years and years. I think there's some kind of dopamine, adrenaline that goes with it, that you can't get these feelings in a typical job. It's different every single day. We never cast the same thing. It's always different. So just, yeah, keep doing it, and you'll get booked as long as you're submitting for something that suits you.
Okay, I'm gonna go to the question box and then to the comments as well too. So I'm gonna rotate. Roosevelt wants to know why sometimes background actors are asked to shave and come with their natural hair, and why not hair systems?
And why not what?
Hair systems.
Hair systems?
I'm thinking like, what do you mean, like a hair system that makes your hair grow, Roosevelt? To
I don't know what that
Yeah.
means, but I'll tell you, we have some shows that absolutely no facial hair, of course. I mean, every single show is different. Like, getting ready to do a show where, remember when the Beatles came to town and
Oh yeah.
men just started, it was the middle of the 60s. In the beginning of the 60s, they had really short hair, and then they started to grow their hair. Like specific things like that. I mean, it changes on every show. I mean, I think about the shows in LA. We have a present day one. We have one that's in the future. I mean, it's very specific. It is. It's just what we need. It's not up to me.
Steve says, I'm hoping to get to work in the near future. I am a union background actor and I've put in numerous roles in the past.
Okay.
Um,
So go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, I was reading along.
I don't I don't know what does that mean? It means that he's been submitting but hasn't gotten anything. The only thing that I could really say is make sure you follow the submission instructions.
Yes,
I do this a lot with Screen Actors Guild, so the non-union people don't get access. But we do, Shane, my partner, Shane Hardigan, and I do a lot of live events with Screen Actors Guild that only SAG members are invited to. And um, part of the question is, how do I get an agent? Okay. How about going to the next level like that? So I called all my friends that are agents, which are not very many. Like back in the old days, we used to talk to agents on the phone all the time, but now everything's electronic. So I only have a couple like really solid agent friends. And I say, how does somebody get an agent? I'm like, just tell me so I could tell them. And they would say, have them follow the instructions on the website. It's
yes,
that simple. If they follow the instructions on the website on how to submit to that particular agency, and you have to do it to a T. And this is something when I'm looking for employees, I'll put it on Facebook. I'll say, I need a new casting assistant. Send me a cover letter and a resume. Send it like this, put this in the subject line. As soon as I find that the subject line is wrong, there's no cover letter, and they sent me a link to their IMDb, whatever it is, I'm like, I'm not going to hire that person. They did it all wrong. Why would I could just click and go to the next person. So I would just say, always submit perfectly per instructions.
yes.
Because it's annoying to us. I'll just tell you. It's just annoying.
And
We want it done right. We don't have
and it's
time.
and it's so many that are coming in, so many messages that are coming in on a daily. They're not always going to be able to get in demand. Just make sure that it's done the way that it's listed, so that it's submitted right to that. And Jody says, I just recently became a film major. I have a little experience. Do you have any advice for those trying to break into the industry?
Into the industry where though? As an extra or as an actor?
Let me know,
I'm
Jody. I see
let's
you.
I'm just going to say, as an actor, well, as an extra, follow the instructions. Take the right photo. As an actor, I would go to your local theater and get into a play. I would go to an improv group and make some really hilarious friends and network with them and practice with them and do scenes with them. And then why don't you shoot each other and make yourselves some reels to submit if you need it? Like, wouldn't it be great to have a couple of self tapes in your pocket when somebody says
Oh,
upload a tape of yourself and then you're ready? Work on making a little studio in your house so you're perfectly lit. And it's again the speed that's involved, where we'll put out a breakdown and the producers are going, we need to cast this role right now, we need it now, we need it now. The ones that come in first, we're going to start to go through, and we're only going to stop when we have enough. So you want to just make sure that you have a good, clean, quality
oh
tape
yeah.
with good sound. Your dog isn't barking. Somebody's alarm isn't going off. There isn't your laundry in the background. I mean, these are things that I am professional. I will not submit. Somebody who didn't listen and is shooting themselves inside with a brick wall. I didn't ask for a brick wall. I asked for a white background. But that's what we do because we like continuity. We like it to look a certain way. And why am I going to break my continuity? Why am I going to have all these people with a white background and then this one guy with a black background? I don't want that. So there's a lot of things you could do. Build your resume, work for free, um, work on low budget films, get some credits. When I'm casting principals, I love to look at special abilities, and I'll call you on it. Like when I'm reading you for an audition in person, and you say that you can speak with a Scottish accent, I'll say, and the director's there, everyone's there, producer in the room. I'll say, let's hear your Scottish accent, and they'll go, oh no, I really can't do Scottish. I'm like, what are you saying it for? I won't say that. I'll just be like, okay. People tell me that I'm the nicest casting director because I will do it again and again and again until it's perfect. I want a good tape, you know? But anyway, build, get some special abilities, make sure that you can do them. Build your resume. I love when a resume comes in and it says lead, 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 lead.
Oh yeah.
Even if it's on tiny productions, it makes me know that you carried that show and you have some chops versus when I see extra roles on a resume, i I can see right through that, and I know that I'm going to take a chance by bringing you in because maybe you don't have any skills, but usually I do it anyway. I bring in a lot of people, but anyway.
Uh, let, let me see. Parvin. Parvin says, hello, Sandy. I just wanted to say a big thank you for all the amazing opportunities that you have provided. Can't wait to work with you more often. And thank you and have a blessed day.
Oh, that's so nice. Thank you.
And then, then she says, if I have long hair, but I do have a wig I wear sometimes, and it's a very short wig, can I still use both looks?
I'm telling you that nobody wants a wig. They just don't want it. It's just, if somebody shows up, they just don't want it. Hair people, that is their expertise. And they are like, imagine casting of hair. So when we bring them someone, they want it to look as real as possible. So they just don't want wigs. It's just not something that people want. If I see someone and it's obviously a wig, I will really have to think about if that's going to be something that the hair department wants. Because you have to believe me that if we send somebody, we see a picture of their hair, they show up to set and they have a wig on, that hair department wants to kill me. We get complaints from all the departments about people who are not, we are looking at their photo that they submitted. They show up and they look different. It's just a killer to us. We're always in trouble because of that. So you don't want that because we're going to get the phone
Nonsense.
call. They're going to call me and they're going to go, I mean, I've been standing on set and people, I mean, they didn't know who I was because this was before social media and nobody knew what I looked like. I've been doing this for almost 30 years. And I would stand there next to the costume truck and there would be a woman saying, Sandy Lisi told me to wear this leopard bustier dress to church. And the costume designer is looking at me and she knows that that's not true. But people will, just follow the rules and it really works out great.
Absolutely. And Romanto wants to know, do you recommend regularly taking new pictures, current look, and full body to post in your database? And how often would you recommend? Does it help to include holding a sheet of paper with a current date?
You know, the sheet of paper thing, I don't love it. I know the Screen Actors Guild doesn't love it either, but sometimes a show requests it, and if they
Mhm.
request it, then we have to do it. Besides that, if you change your look in any way, update your picture. The benefit of updating your picture in the database is if there are 5,000 people in your
Oh, yeah.
category and you update, your picture goes to the front. So when we turn it on, and as soon as we do a search for men, 50 to 60, African American, whatever it is, whoever updated comes to the front. So it gives you an edge for sure to be one of the people that come up to the front.
Let me go to the question box also. Okay, I've got that one, got that one, got that one. Oh, okay, Faye Flows. Fifi Flows, I think that's it. Acting class, Recoms connected to casting directors in LA, and also being on set as a dancer. I've been put in all situations to act. So I would love best practices on how to stand out. Started thinking of acting because of this, and thank you for booking me. And that is from Trisha. Trisha.
Okay, you know what I'm going to do? First of all, if you go to YouTube, you're going to see a video that I made, and it's called How to Stand Out. So that you could do in the meantime. But I've made a note because I'm listening. I'm going to make sure that we have another, I'll do a nice new How to Stand Out kind of little mini kind of class. So I will definitely do that. But in the meantime, you can go look on YouTube.
Okay, and it's the next question. We have some more questions. Queen wants to know, can I submit to a role requesting 20s if I am older or younger, but I can still play the role?
I think that if it's within 10 years, if it's more than that, don't do it. Because if we see you submit for something that you are not right for, we're not going to take you seriously. I've had people come to audition in person with me, say I'm looking for a mom for a commercial, for a principal role who's in her 40s. And then I'll have women in their 60s show up, and it doesn't make sense. Like, it just doesn't make sense. It's just a time waster for us. So I'd say you should really think about a 10-year span, but that's it. Like, don't say you can play 20s to 40s and you're 50. Don't do that. Just keep yourself in a 10-year span. And if you think it's legit enough, then yeah, because we're going to end up, someone's going to see you in person. If
Yeah.
it's not us, we're going to get you on set, and then someone's going to see you and you go, why did you send this person? And we're going to be like, oh, and you don't want that. You don't want to be, we have a list of people, it's marked. And if there's something that somebody does, it goes into our system. So say you did something, we see it. We have a box of, violations, and there's only so much that we'll tolerate. So just be careful. That's all.
Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Okay, I've got that one. I've got that one. Newkirk says, "Hi Sandy, are you using your internal database to search for who you are submitting, or is it primarily from email responses to your social media posts?"
Okay, it's different in because I have to think of it in every market, and I'm not sure where you're coming from, but we do more digging in the database in our smaller markets, meaning I don't even want to say smaller, but um, in Hawaii, New Mexico, but in LA, it's probably less. It's probably less in LA and UK, and more, submissions every day, like posting and
Oh yeah.
trying to get submissions from our Facebook and Instagram.
And Hulk, is it in Hulk? Says, "I worked on a project where my face was completely covered by a mask and glasses. Can I still apply? Can I apply for the same project with the new faces tag?"
Um, I would apply, and I would say when I worked, my face was completely covered by a mask, and just let the casting director know, and I'm sure that they would consider that person.
Another question on we talk about consistency. Veer the actor wants to know, are there any tips on getting booked consistently?
Oh my gosh. See, the thing is, to get a role that's a regular role is like the it's the best. I know that from when I worked as an extra. What you want is to be recurring. I was a recurring waitress on Seinfeld, And I did that for years, for like 6 seasons. And, just knowing exactly what I was going to do when I'd show up on set on a Wednesday night and, fake pour coffee with the crew. It's just the best. So if you could get yourself into a role like that, lots of times when we're in prep, we'll say heavily featured and recurring. You want that. That is what you want.
Yeah.
We have, I'm thinking of the series that we have. We have like 4 different series in LA right now. Big series, like 2 are HBO. These are giant series. They are, in the beginning, we prep and we get regulars, and to get regular after that is pretty hard. It's usually done in the beginning of the show, but that's where you want to be. So whenever you see that recurring type thing, stop, pull over, submit now. Don't submit in 2 hours. Submit immediately, you know, because it's a numbers game. It happens fast.
All right, let me go to the question box again. JRVISC wants to know, is it okay if you use costumes to use as a headshot picture outfit to submit? Example, police officer.
Police officer is okay. I remember seeing people with like this like kooky 70s costume. Usually costume department doesn't want to see a costume. I mean, it has to be something real. If you have a real LAPD outfit, definitely, or any kind of police outfit,
Yep.
definitely take a picture in that. Yes, all the way, for sure.
Let me see. I think I just about got them all out of the question box. Zoe Grace Rodriguez wants to know, how can we get credits to become a SAG background actor?
Well, you have to get SAG vouchers, and we only have SAG in a few markets. We have it in Hawaii, New York, and here in LA. I mean, the markets that we work in. So we have some SAG. It's just starting in New Mexico where there's only on Netflix shows. But you know what I would do, and this is how I got SAG, is go and show up early and bring that AD a cup of coffee and say, listen, I really want to be a SAG actor. If there's any way that if somebody doesn't show, will you please think of me? Or if you have something maybe next week, maybe you could request me through the casting company. I'm really working hard to be a SAG actor. And then I want to say that don't get SAG unless you are an actor. Like you don't want to get into that group unless you really want to be an actor. Don't be SAG to be an extra, because SAG extra is a hard road. It's just there's a lot less spots, and there's less work for you. So if you want to be an actor, then yeah, totally. And that's just one way to do it. And you know what? I'll make a note about how to get SAG vouchers. How about that for something else?
And I see some more questions. Uh, okay. Oh, okay. Hannah wants to know, when you say need first responder, can a RN submit?
Yes, sure, definitely, because you'll know the moves. So yes, we love that, definitely.
Yes, yes. Okay, Miles wants to know, I recently had a great experience on set with Nicole in your New Mexico office. Can you talk about the pros and cons of facial hair on men?
Well, Nicole is amazing. Our staff is incredible. Nicole's been with us for a long time. If you look at our pages, you'll see Nicole, who is so cute, and she teaches you how to take your own headshot. So you can see that now. She's putting it up in all the markets. But what I would do, and especially, and I want you to hear me, if you're in New Mexico, and you're somebody who has long hair, leave it long, because we might have something there that we need that hair for. So you like think about actors who, if they're not working, they're just growing their hair. Isn't that the smartest thing to do? Just keep it growing until you have to cut it. It's great to be willing to cut it, but cut it for a role. Don't cut it, just let it grow. We need hair. We need long hair. So. Don't cut it unless you have to. Don't cut your beard unless you have to. A thing that I have done so many times is if I need 70s people, I'll go to people with beards. I'll say, grow your beard, and then we'll just have them shave this. And then we get some nice
The
big chops on the side that are
sideburns.
full on. So I say, let it grow until you have to cut it.
Okay, Guppy wants to know, do I need to have a social media presence if I want to get into acting?
No, because we very rarely look at it. You know, when I looked at it was I was casting Disney mermaids. There's a lot of responsibility in that because what if I cast somebody who had a dark past and then there was some kind of bad something? So I was casting Disney mermaids and I stayed up really late the night before looking at everyone's social media because I found someone who had a famous sex tape with a big actor. And then I had to cancel them because I thought, could you imagine if I was the casting director that sent that person to be a Disney mermaid? I'm not getting involved in that.
Right.
So I just had to cancel. But yeah, so it's rare. We barely look at it. Um, we don't even look at it. I mean, unless it's a situation like that.
Um, Romanto wants to know, how often do you recommend updating current look on your database? Headshot and full body both taken on iPhone. Also, do you recommend, yeah, we did that
We
one about the sheet of
did
paper.
that one, and it's about if you change your look, come in, and you will go to the front of the database. So that's basically the answer.
Okay, I got the one about, I think I've got all of you guys' question just about, except for Ezekiel. Ezekiel wants to know tips on manifesting, and are there any open calls that you can walk into?
Um, I have been talking about doing an open call because we're doing a show right now that we need sleazeballs, druggies, sluts. We need all the things, a lot of really unique things. So we've been talking about it. And when we have an open call, you know, I've done them. A lot of you have come to them. We're doing a thing lately where we're taking having a professional photographer show up. So we're definitely going to be doing this in Wales and in London, where when you come down, we'll take a professional photo that you can use anywhere. You'll have a beautiful professional photo of yourself, and that's what we'll put in our database because then we get to see what you really look like. And when we submit you to a director, it looks amazing. So when you do see open calls for us, come to them because usually you'll walk out of there with a pro photo, which is cool, and you'll get to meet everybody. So yeah.
And Joe wants to know, why so much overnight shoots? Why so much non-union only jobs?
Well, we don't have anything that's non-union only. I can't even think of any of our shows in our 5 time zones that are non-union. So, we talked about earlier how we'll have recurring, if it's a television show, Screen Actors Guild has made a deal where we don't have very many SAG spots. So if we have regulars or specialties. So if we need strippers, or if we need people with like responders or anything really specific, that's where our SAG vouchers go, to the really specific stuff. And then what's left is the non-union, but they're not typically non-union shows, which is different because if you're on a SAG show and you're non-union, you'll be treated well. Like, we only have really quality shows. If it's like a non-union movie or the whole way, you got to watch because you know you don't know how they'll treat you. So if you're non-union on our show, it's a non-union position, but it's usually on a SAG show.
Okay, Senshui wants to know, how do we feel about the industry in LA right now? How do things look for the near future?
Well, that is a good question. I don't know if this data is exactly correct because it changes a lot, but say Hollywood used to have like 40% of the work in the world, or maybe it was more. It just depends. Every year it had a different percentage. Maybe in the most recent past, it was 35% of the work in the world. Okay. We only have about 18% that's happening right now. So imagine all of those crew members who are sitting at home, because if there's 35% of the people that are ready to work and we only have 18% of the shows, that's a lot of crew members out of work. And it is heartbreaking to know that that's happening. We have been really, really lucky. I'm so, so grateful that we're working and we're doing really well in LA. But it's also the actors. So now you have a lot more people going for a lot less roles. The thing that I'm hoping for is, I'm hearing that the governor is going to look at a better tax incentive, and that's supposed to happen this summer in LA. So we're really hopeful that that will make a big change in LA. A lot of people have moved to different markets, and that's why we have spread out, because we needed to employ. We've had the same staff for so many years, and they're pros, they're senior casting directors. We need to make sure that those people are busy. So we have people working in New Mexico that are casting LA shows. We have LA people casting Hawaii. We have Hawaii casting LA. We have there. Everyone crosses over. So I think it's going to get better. I do. I think it's going to get better. A lot of work right now is in UK. Last pie chart I saw showed that UK is about a quarter of the industry work in the world. And we just got to London and Wales. We just opened. We just did all of the accounting and the hiring and all of it. And we have like 8 shows there right now. We have 8 shows coming in Wales and in UK. It is so stunning. I mean, we have more there. We just showed up there, but we're chasing the work. It's just what we have to do to keep our team working.
Absolutely. And the next question is from JR. Yeah, I don't think we answered that one. Jay wants to know, will open calls be more available in LA, and will they be posted on Facebook?
Yes, definitely. I'm hearing that we better have some open calls. So I will have an open call in LA. I'm making a note and we will post it. Yes, it'll be on Facebook and Instagram.
And Clifton wants to know, how do I get into Marvel movies?
Well, I'm not allowed to say anything. But Marvel, yeah, yeah. A lot of Marvel shoots in UK. We've done we've done one in LA. But yeah, we've been talking to them. Yeah, so it depends on where you are, I guess, and what we have. But the problem is that you'll never know because you don't know what shows we have. We have double secret names for everything. I would love to tell you what we're casting because I think people would be really blown away. And what we just finished, just like probably the biggest show, biggest film on earth. But we're not allowed to say.
She sworn to secrecy, y'all. She
I
can't say.
know.
And Carlos says, do you recommend putting a resume together for day player stand-in jobs?
Well, you can't put stand-in and day player on the same resume. So we ask for people's stand-in resume. Definitely make a stand-in resume for sure. That has no extra work on it. You don't need a resume for extra work at all. So never do that because it's just, we don't need that. But we do want a resume for day playing, and acting work. And if you need to build that, we talked about it earlier, but, go to your local theater and then go get into an improv group and go get some training and go get some special skills. And, you can Google actor's resume online and just kind of follow that format and see what you need to fill. Go on Craigslist, go on Backstage West, go, just try to star in no budget movies And then we talked about how, this $6 million movie, Honora, swept the Oscars. I mean, that is so hopeful. So don't be afraid to work on something for free, to put it on your resume. Don't put extra work on your resume, and don't put extra work on your IMDb. It is the most frustrating thing. It is not fair to the people who have had day player roles that earn those. Don't put extra work on IMDb. It is the biggest pet peeve. It is so, it clouds it. It's just not fair to everybody else. It should not ever be allowed. It is just, it should never be allowed unless it was so featured that we will see you and we will remember you in that movie. But besides that, don't do it. I don't like it.
And here I am says, hello, apologies if this was asked already. Does your agency use calling services?
Yes, we do. But we only have calling services in LA. There are no other cities that we work in that have calling services, but we do use calling services. Yeah, for sure. We use everything. We use every resource we can. We never cast from one place. Like if somebody ever said, "Oh, you're just using calling service," there's no way that we would get the caliber of work that we do from a calling service. It's like a couple hundred people. We When we need something, we tell all of the services and look in our database. So yes, it does not hurt, and we love the services in LA. Yes, definitely.
Let me see. Did I miss any question? Yes, you guys are just commenting. Let me see. Did I get all of your questions? Because I think I got all of you guys' questions. Okay. We got that one. We got that one. Do we got that one? Okay, Golden wants to know, do we have a trusted talent pool?
Do we have?
Do you?
Yeah.
Yes. Does the
I would
agency
have
have
to
it?
say yes, because I'm not casting day to day. My role is overseeing the five time zones and hard to cast things and principles and specialties. So I'm really kind of operating on that level right now. But when I think of my team, I know that each casting director that I have, or that we have, I'm sure they have trusted people that they think of who they would reach out to first. You know, they might say, "Oh, I need some regular people that and then they'll think of who was so professional that they really loved." So yeah, definitely, I'm sure that everybody has that.
And wait a minute, more questions. Jozanzi wants to know, do I have to have a high school diploma or GED to further my career in acting?
No, definitely not. You don't need that at all. I mean, I'm not going to say don't get it. I mean, I think it's a good thing to get. Just if, I've never used my college degree ever. I just started working and interning and, finding my way. It is definitely not needed. No, definitely not.
And Zoe Grace Rodriguez wants to know, are you hiring for casting directors in LA?
Oh my gosh, sometimes we are, but right now we're not. But randomly, you'll see me post on Facebook and say, I need interns who want to train to be casting directors and or casting assistants, and we'll buy you lunch and that type of thing. And the last time I did that, I ended up with Grant Crocker, who's a incredible casting director who works for me, and also with Andrea Mendoza. The two of them came as interns, but you know what? So did I. I started as an intern, and within a couple weeks, I was suddenly, put on Jerry Maguire and Fight Club and this and this and this. And it's just, it's about your work ethic. And it's, again, not about your college degree. Like Andrea has a master's degree, and she came to me as an intern, and she's a casting director. But it's like, we're not looking at that. We're not looking at that. But yeah, not right now. I wish we had something. It happens, though. It does happen.
Okay, RJ1 wants to know, what if I don't live in LA or any acting hub quite yet? Can I still join the casting call in LA?
No, you have to be local, because what if we call you and say, we need you tomorrow morning? And if you're too far, then it's just going to be a waste of our time. you know? So no, you have to be, you have to be in one of our cities. And if not, call the film commission where you live and see who the extras casting companies are that are legit, right? And go sign up with them.
And Lewis wants to know why drive all the way to Newhall for a fitting.
You know why? Because our show, one of our shows, is based out of Melody Ranch. And it's a giant show, and that's where the costumes are. And that's where we shoot most of the work on those stages. And so that's just what it is. I mean, we don't have a choice. If that's where the clothes are, that's where the clothes are. We have a lot of shows that shoot in Manhattan Beach, and people have to go all the way down there for fitting. Um, it's just Hollywood.
And Queen, oh, now you're speaking my language, Queen. You know I love makeup. She wants to know when sending photos, should ladies apply makeup?
I would want to be made up in a photo. I mean, don't put any AI on there, but I would put makeup on. I mean, it depends. Sometimes we'll say don't put makeup on. But yeah, I would be ready. Sometimes people come to open casting calls and they show up in a hoodie, pajama pants, some socks, and some slides. And I think, why didn't you get ready? Why wouldn't you just show me your best? I would want to be my best. I would want to be my most authentic, like the best version of that. But sometimes people, I'm like trying to take a pic. I want to take a picture, and I go, take off that sweatshirt. Uh, you need to go. Like, what are you doing? Why are you giving me this? Show me your best. It's business. It's not. It's not a game. It's business.
And Tosh underscore RK wants to know, is it okay to email casting directors every month just to remind them you exist? Very short emails.
No, it's annoying. I wouldn't do it. Not every month. I think it's too much because there are so many other people that we have to deal with. I think it's better to just submit per instructions and they'll see you and be like, oh, that person's a pro. And that's the way to do it.
Yes, 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 yes. Let me see. Diego says, I don't have an upgraded reel. The student films I've done were not reel worthy. Should I make a reel with self takes, or what would you recommend?
Uh, I think I would have a couple self tape auditions that are great in my pocket, but be ready to self tape for anything at the same time. If you have some footage that you can make into a reel, just make sure it looks good and not homemade. Don't put anything homemade on there. I don't know who is requesting that anymore. I don't think anybody really requests it anymore. Reels like that. I think it's more of a self tape now. So don't go through too much trouble.
Laura wants to know, do most jobs provide clothing, or do you often have to come dressed fit for the job description?
Well, lots of times we'll know what the color palette is and what the styles are. We do a lot of period films, and it's not just the past, it's also the future. So, if you know you're coming to an open casting call, if it were me and I used to do extra work, I would pop into a thrift store and I would go get something that's suitable. Um, if it's period, maybe it could just be a little cardigan or like a sleeveless something with like a slim fitting, kind of figure flattering, A-line, whatever you think would fit the period. You definitely don't want to look like you have a costume on because a costume designer is never going to want a costume. And lots of times when we take a picture of you at an open call, we are showing that to the costume designer and to the director. So I would want to have my best on, my best clothes on. We just did a show where we needed super high end types. And we said, come in your best because we wanted to see now I know Stevie, that, about fabric and about
Oh, yeah.
quality and what, maybe you're like a beautiful woman but you wore a $12 dress. Well, we know that $12 dress is going to go stand online to the costume trailer, and it's not the right thing. And if that's your best, that's not good enough. Like, just do a little bit better. Just like think about the whole picture. And that goes back to where somebody will show up with a hoodie and pajamas on. It's like, don't make me do all the work. Like, you need to come with your best. You need to
And
come to our next open call, Stevie.
presentation is key. Presentation is
Hmm.
key. So when you're coming in and going in for a casting call, that casting director is going to look for presentation. You can have
Yes.
your resume, your headshots. Yes, that's what we're looking for, but come dressed the part. Come
Oh,
dressed the
yeah.
part.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. And some people will come in outfits that are just showstoppers and they're standing in line. We try to get it to go as fast as we can. We move really fast. We're very respectful of people's time and I'll see some women standing out there in the highest high heel and just looking gorgeous and I will stop and say, "Who are you? This is incredible." And I'll be like, "You need to go over here and blah blah blah." And it'll get you places if you make the extra effort.
Absolutely. And AZ wants to know, he says that I'm an international actor, just moving to LA. All my reels are in my mother language. Is it enough to translate the reels, or should I do more English speaking roles?
It's not just English speaking roles, but your English has to be perfect. It has to be perfect. You have to have a perfect accent. I was just watching Handmaid's Tale, and three of their main actors are not American. And those accents are perfect. And I've had so many auditions where you don't know that English is someone's second language until they
Mhm.
come in. You bring them in for an audition and now you can't understand a word they're saying, and I feel so bad for them. I just wish they would know that you have to have a perfect American accent if you're coming in for an American role. If we ask you to have a second language, like sometimes I need a woman who can also be a spy and she's got to have Russian. Well, we want that Russian, but your English has to be perfect because now you're not a spy, like you're giving it away because I can hear your accent. So it is something that really, really has to be taken seriously. You have to be able to speak in an American accent. I mean, sometimes,
Absolutely.
well, I mean, it just opens up roles for you. If you just want to come in for a Russian role or a whatever, Spanish, whatever it is, then that's one thing. But, we'll do a lot of commercials where people are bilingual and they're speaking Spanish and English, and they want to hear perfect English and they want to hear perfect Spanish. So it's something that really has to be worked on for sure.
Vince Korea, he says, hi, where do you post your principal jobs? I'd love to submit for my type.
We post our principal jobs. It depends on what city you're in, but if you're in LA, we post on Actors Access and on Breakdown Services, meaning that it goes to people with actors with agents and without agents. We always do that because we want to cast the net wide. And just because you don't have an agent doesn't mean you're not a great actor. So I always love to give people without agents a chance. We also, if it's something that's pretty specific, then we'll put it on our social media. But if we said we need a regular guy to be a regular job for a speaking role on our social media, we would explode. We can't. It's just too many people. We have to be able to, narrow it down. But we put it on all the sites, Casting Frontier, um, Casting Network. We put it on all the sites.
Golden says, thank you for taking the time to give us all these tips. And I think I've answered all of you guys' questions. So
Yeah,
this is another hour-long show today. I went through question by question by question by
you're
question to
so
make sure that everything.
great, Miss Stevie.
And thank you all for coming in because people want to know, like, what can I do? I did a horror film back in 2021 and I had no acting experience. Went in to the table read because my role was a college professor. And my co star, Roman walked me through, showed me the ropes, was working with me. The other cast members worked with me as well too. And I said, okay, I was nervous. But going in, he told me, okay, I don't want you to have long hair. No, no, you're playing a college professor, so you got to be. We want to age you a little bit. We want you to have short hair. So for the film, I came in with short hair, and I gave the director what he wanted, and then I went back to my long hair. But that's what producers and directors, especially casting directors, are looking for. They tell you come dressed a certain way for a role that you're pitching to them. You go in there and you dress a certain way. Don't come in there with the hoodie, as Sandy mentioned.
Oh yeah,
So presentation is key. Even with me hosting this
definitely.
platform, working in fashion, everybody's like, she always changes her look all the time. I like to stay consistent. I'm a chameleon. I don't like to stay the same. So today my hair could be blonde. Tomorrow it'll probably be red. So I'm always changing, and that's what it's about: being able to step outside of your norm. And everybody is thanking you, saying they're sending you so much love. They're saying thank
Uh,
you.
can I say something really quick?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm not sure where you all are, but I just want to make sure that you look in your look up our Elise Hardigan Facebook pages and like us there because you'll see all of our casting notices there and all of our Elise Hardigan Instagram pages. So make sure you do that. Make sure that you go to AliceHardiganCasting.com and register, and it's free. You need to upload a photo of yourself with a white background and fill in all your sizes, so you should probably know what all of your sizes are before you register. And once you're in there, then we can look you up and we can text out to you and email out, and it's a really good place to be, so make sure you do that. Another thing is if you want to get little casting tips from me, you can go to my Instagram, not my Facebook that says Sandy Alisi, because I only have my friends on there, but my Instagram that says only Sandy Alisi. You'll see little tips. They take like 5 seconds. So then you can watch that. Another thing is if you want to follow my band,
Okay.
we're all between 50 and 60 years old. And we just started this band and we did this. I mean, we've been doing these phenomenal things for these people that have never been in the music business. And they're all my greatest girlfriends. We are called the Lake Sirens on Instagram. We're only on Instagram. It's the Lake Sirens. And that's where I know Miss Stevie from. But we found ourselves singing background for Rick Springfield. And then we went to Jazz Fest and we performed on a stage in front of 25,000 people. And we opened up for the Foo Fighters. And we're just like regular girls in the neighborhood at Malibu Lake. And it's just a lot of hilarious stuff. And this year we're going to record in Nashville. We have 3 songs. If you ask Alexa to play the Lake Sirens, or if you ask, we're on all the platforms, Spotify and all of that. Oh, she's listening. Alexa, nothing. Alexa, off. Alexa, off. Oh my God. Anyway, it's hilarious. And we're going to Nashville and we're just like regular girls. And it's just funny because we're just starting this new career as, over 50s. So we're called the Lake Sirens. So look there. And if anybody wants to ask me something, or if you want me to talk about something on a certain subject, I'm going to give you an email. Okay. This is like a private kind of email. So don't go crazy. But it's Sandy Alisi, and then it's the number 2, and that's SandeAlessi, the number 2, and this is how old it is, at AOL.com. Don't make fun of me. Steven Spielberg has my email. I'm not changing it.
There you have it. Write it down. Write down the information she just provided. And that was going to be my last question before we wrap. Where can everyone get in touch with you? But she just provided that information for you. So make sure you guys please go and check it out. Let me make sure that I got all the questions before we go. All the questions out. Okay, okay, okay. I think I got everything. I think I answered every single question, you guys. Thank you all so, so, so much
Stevie,
for
can we do
tuning
it
in. And
again?
yes, I'd love to do it again. I'd
Okay.
love to do it. Yes, yes, yes. Just let me know when. Thank you all so much. So
Okay. Thank you.
Before we wrap, Sandy, what are some tips? Because I see the key question that everyone kept asking is how do I stand out? What is something that you would give people in life in general, not just going to a casting call, but what is something that you would give people on standing out and just being intentional about life, about their passion? What is something you would tell them?
I would say passion is a big part of it. Be
Oh, yeah.
passionate. I think manifesting is a big part of it. I say make lists of goals, imagine yourself there. I say authenticity is the highest way that a human vibrates. The highest frequency that you can vibrate in is authenticity. During the SAG strike, I learned, because there was nothing to do, I learned how to, I trained in frequency medicine, and now I'm trained on this
Mm.
super technological Tesla device that scans people, and I could see where your frequencies are low, and I could find all kinds of illnesses. It doesn't matter what it is, I can find it. So I've been doing that on the side. I'm just always learning. I think that's another thing. Always learn. You know, like I said earlier, that I learned to, when it was COVID, I learned to captain a 50-foot sailboat. I was like a single girl, and I'm like, you know what I'm going to do? I am going to go out to the ocean and I'm going to learn everything about how to start it, the engine, all the emergency stuff, how to sail this boat. I think you have to always, continue to learn. As far as acting, always be prepared. Just definitely follow the instructions. Go the extra mile. I always believe in, I got a lot when I did extra work in showing up early, bringing extra clothes, offering to, help, and, trying to make a connection. And I see people that come in and audition with me. They'll come in, I mean, the wrong thing to do is say, I didn't have any time to learn these lines. They didn't dress appropriately. They're late. Sorry, I'm late. All of these things. And then some people will come in and they will, maybe make a little, be completely prepared, but then make a little uh, personal kind of note and say, I remembered you when we worked on blah blah blah, or I loved the extras on this, or you're thank you for having me in. I've always heard, like, just some little kind of connection. It's just really memorable. So if you can plan on something like that in advance, most importantly, I would say pick a 10-year span, take a headshot of yourself looking as young as you can. Take a headshot of yourself looking as old as you can. Take a headshot of yourself looking as downscale as possible, and one looking as good or hot or upscale as possible. Look like a millionaire. Look like a thug. Look like a drug addict. Look like a perfect college student. Whatever it is,
Yeah.
never with a costume, but it's just another, really, it's good to have those tools and be armed with pictures like that. So when that casting notice comes up and it says, we need recurring people that are going to be featured, that's the job you want. That's where your SAG vouchers will come from. That's what you want. So if you already have all these pictures, you don't have to go home and take a picture. Your toolbox is full, you know? So you could just flip us one of those pictures and you're ready to go. Okay, so that's what I would say.
Absolutely. And they wanted to know, could you repeat the email again? I'm seeing a lot of people saying,
Yes.
repeat the email again.
Okay. This is like a side secret email that I have. It's Sandy Alesi, my name, SandeAlessi, and the number 2 at AOL.com. So that is one that I will look at.
All right.
Okay.
Passion
Yes.
Dolls. And my final thought of the day comes from Vincent Van Gogh. He says, what would life be if we had no courage to attempt anything? So this is all about jumping out on fear.
Oh,
Stepping outside of your
yeah.
norm and outside of your comfort zone can be scary for a lot of us. For anybody
Oh,
going
yeah.
for an acting role, it can be scary. But you never know if you don't try. But again,
Yeah.
make sure that you're coming presentable. If the casting director says, okay, I want you in a suit, I want you to come dressed professional, come dressed professional. Thank you, thank you, thank you,
I
thank you, Betty
have
Jean.
another
Thank you.
thing. Can I say one more thing?
Yes.
You know, a lot of acting, a lot of being an actor, and you can't just be an actor. That's brilliant. You also have to be a business person and a salesperson, selling yourself. And that's probably even harder for people than the acting, right? So imagine, um, the amount of auditioning or going to open calls or submitting. You have to be able to enjoy that, because if you don't, then it's not going to help you. You have to know that your only chance to act may be you self-taping. So you have to enjoy that. You have to love the art of submitting and make that into part of the world of acting that you're doing. It's not like you don't get a chance to act because you didn't get the job. No, because you're acting in that audition, and you're acting, you got your best foot forward, you're doing all that stuff whenever you get in front of me. Whenever you submit a picture, whenever you show up to an open call, whenever you send a self tape, you have to love that. You have to love the acting. That's part of it. So I just wanted to say, if you don't love that, then you better not do it. But hopefully you love it and just appreciate any moment that you get to audition, because it's acting.
Absolutely. All right, fashion dolls, and I see so many of you, all of you following me in the dozens. Thank you all so much. And this is on the strength of Sandy here. So I thank you all so much for just tuning in and engaging in this conversation and asking your questions you wanted to know. So without further ado, thank you so much, Sandy. I had such
Thank
an
you so
amazing
much.
time. And I look forward to chatting with you and the ladies
Yeah.
again and hopefully
Yeah.
doing this again because a lot of people want to know what can I do to get into this acting gig? What can I do? This is very pivotal. So yes.
Yes. Okay, we'll do it again. Thank you.
You are so
That
welcome. Y'all take
was
care
great
and have a
fun, and thank you
fabulous.
all for showing up and for listening and learning. And hopefully, I'll see you on set.
Yes, fashion dolls. And we will see you tomorrow. Joining me tomorrow, we have Adam Treasure. You guys take care. And this interview will be uploaded. The information Sandy provided, you guys can go back and check out the replay. It will be hit up also on Style by Stevie on Style by Stevie Daytime on YouTube. If you have not subscribed, head on over and hit that bell. This makes interview 756, y'all.
Wow.
Thank you all so much. We are on the road to 800. And I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you to my new followers, new subscribers. Thank you all. On the strength of Sandy, because you guys followed as soon as she posted that fire. You came in. You all came in so fast. So thank y'all so much. I appreciate it. I'm not able to get back to everybody, but I'm going to follow you all as I can. But thank you all, Fashion
Thank
Dolls. Thank you. Take care,
you,
everyone.
Stevie. Bye. Mwah.
Mwah.